Добрый день. Двенадцать часов. Да, я извиняюсь, что мы немножечко перенесли. Дело в том, что у нас тут такие вот обстоятельства. Шторм, красный уровень опасности, в общем, поэтому пришлось перенести, так как нужно раньше детей забирать. Ну и все, я вас приветствую. Пожалуйста, дайте обратную связь. Я буду приглашать нашу гостью. Нам сегодня надо всем по-быстренькому побежать за детьми. И переключаюсь, слышно, видно, отлично. И я переключаюсь на английский, потому что гости у нас сегодня англоговорящие. Так. We're waiting. Oh, hi, Ivana.
Hi.
How are you? How are you today in this stormy weather?
Oh, it's wild, but I'm okay. How are you, Katya?
Yeah, I'm also okay. Surviving. Need to run to pick up kids because actually my day was scheduled till 5 o'clock, and now I need to pick them up early, and everything is a little bit out of hand at the moment. But I really felt that we need to make this live stream because a lot of people were asking and waiting actually for this live, for our live talk, because the idea and the business idea of having YouTube channel is really in interest for my followers, maybe for yours also. Yeah, and also, by the way, I saw on your YouTube channel there is a video how to survive Dutch weather.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would be a bit practical today, but yeah.
That's handy. So, guys, if you really would like to know how to survive Dutch weather, watch Jovi's home.
Thanks, Katya.
Yeah, so I know Giovanna for I don't know how many years already, probably 7 as our kids.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
met we met when we had our babies and then became friends and now business colleagues. So yeah, it's lovely to have gone on this adventure with you, Katya.
Yeah, and I think now for 3 years I help you with your administration, and I see how rapidly you are growing, and I see your success, and for me it's amazing. That's why I really wanted to share. Shall we start with the question how you ended up living in the Netherlands?
Sure. So I actually moved to the Netherlands when I was just finishing up my law school. I came here to do an internship at the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. And I fell in love with the country and, well, my husband. And we ended up just deciding that this is where we wanted to live. So that's how I'm here. Yeah.
So you had not purely romantic route, it was mixed.
It was mixed, for sure. It just happened that we were both interested in the same international criminal law, and The Hague happens to be the international city of peace and justice. So if you want to be an international criminal lawyer, this is the best place that you can be. So yeah.
For sure. Nice. And I assume then you've been in classical employment.
That's right. Yeah. So I worked first for an international organization, which was not so classical, but then I ended up moving to work in 2 different Dutch companies, and then it was very traditional Dutch employment. But yeah, after then I have 2 children, if people don't know. After my first child, I did go back to work. But after my second, it just, as an international person living in here with no family support, also my husband is not Dutch, so we are really alone here. We struggled with having 2 children and no childcare and 2 full-time demanding jobs. And so ultimately, I made the decision to quit working and to focus on just staying at home until my youngest ended up going to school. Yeah, so that's kind of what I did. But then, I'm a lover of YouTube, and I was watching YouTube before I even had kids. And for me, what the content that I loved the most at that time was the beauty space, the beauty influencers that were showing you how to do your makeup and teaching you all these things. And I thought, wow, this is so interesting that you can make videos and get people to know you and share helpful information, because for me that was helpful at the time. in an entertaining and interesting way. And so I just loved it. And I thought I would like to try to do this one day if I ever have the chance. But obviously that did not happen in the same way. But when I did leave my job to stay home with my daughter and my son, but mostly my daughter,
Yeah.
I found that I would have time, like when she was having 2 sleeps a day, you know, the 2 breaks or whatever. And I thought, well, maybe I can start making videos in this time that she's sleeping and talk about, you know, things that I really struggled with trying to figure out as an international in the Netherlands. There's one moment that I really, really remember so much, and that was when I was pregnant with my first child, and we were at the gynecologist, and I said to the doctor, okay, so when I have my baby, which pediatrician will I take them to? Like, which kinderarts will we go to for weighing and measuring and vaccines and all of those things? So what are we going to do? And that doctor looked at me and he goes, in the Netherlands, only sick children go to the, you know, pediatrician. Your child will not go there. And that was all he said. And I just thought, oh my God, so where's my kid gonna go? I don't know anything. How am I gonna be able to raise my child here? I'm gonna fail as the mom.
Yeah.
And so when I started my YouTube channel, I had all of these thoughts in my mind, like, what if I make videos talking about the things that were really difficult for me? Because I'm not the only international mom here. Maybe there's others that will be struggling, and maybe I can help people with making content about those challenges that I faced so that they don't feel so alone and they don't feel so stupid as I did in that moment, and in lots of other moments, but that moment in particular. So that's a little bit of how it all came to start.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so familiar. So for me, I made a switch from employment to self-employment. Actually, when I was pregnant with my second one, and my employer told me, you need to go back based on Dutch law. You need your paid maternity leave is only 3 months, and then you need to go back to work. And for me, I was shocked, like 3 months? How do you just even see that? I want to breastfeed. I want to spend my time. The first year is so important. And then I decided, oh no, sorry, for me it's too much. I cannot do this. And I really made a switch that time.
It's hard. Were you scared? Because that's, you know, you have like this security of a contract, an employer, and then to make that switch to self-employment, it's a bit scary, you know, and
Yes, it was also super scary for me. But you know, then you put on the weights. You put from the one side the actually freedom and the flexibility, and on the other side you put all the social benefits and actually security, financial security. And I was thinking, you know what, I will do this, and we'll see. Of course, I also had my husband who was supported us and paying for the mortgage and this kind of fixed expenses, and that helped a lot. But also I made some savings because I knew that it will self-employment, of course, more risky, and I need to be prepared financially.
Absolutely. That's really good advice. And I was in the same situation as you. I was able to make this decision a bit easier because I knew that certainly I had a financial backing from my husband at that time. But yeah.
Great. And coming back to your actually YouTube channel, because a lot of people think that it's quite an easy thing to do, to set up your YouTube channel, to start making videos, to be nice, you know, to put all makeup and just being pretty, make videos, and then you get subscribers somehow automatically, and you are paid by YouTube, and then you get all these interesting collaborations. Tell us, please, from the person who actually who actually made this happen and who came from point zero to point B, when now you have and schools calling and
Sorry, I didn't hear the question. Suddenly you had it had gone on mute, so I didn't hear the whole question. But from point A to point B, how was it? You want to know?
Yeah, so how you started, how actually it looks like the operational side of having a YouTube channel.
Okay. So before, one thing that I really was worried about starting a YouTube channel was that I don't know how to actually use proper editing software. So that for me was a big, big barrier.
Yeah.
I had all these ideas and all this creativity, but I would not be able to actually make a YouTube video. Like I would not be able to make something that was a professional product to put on the internet. So for me, the first starting point was, let's see if I can find an editor. And very luckily, I mean, I'm not going to go into this whole story, but I did know Dan, who was a teenager who was interested in editing videos, and he had this passion and stuff. So the first thing that I did was ask him, hey Dan, I want to start a YouTube channel. I have these ideas. Will you be my editor? And he agreed. So then that's how I was like, okay, now if I have this, let's see what else I need to do. Oftentimes you hear people say, just start. You want to do a YouTube video, just start. Go for it. That is not what advice I would give to someone having gone through this. Because I see so many people think, oh, I have like an idea for 3 YouTube videos. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Well, let me tell you something. 3 YouTube videos is not enough. 3 ideas is not enough. You need to prepare. So before I ever posted a single YouTube video, I had 2 months of content filmed, edited, and ready to post.
2 months.
2 months, yeah. So I was filming and Dan was editing, but we were not publishing it. We were not posting it. We wanted to have this lead time so that we could see, is anybody watching? And if they are, what are they interested in? What kind of content is attracting people's attention? And then we would also still have time to continue making videos in that 2-month gap. And so we would always have a steady flow of content. Now when I try to do, now I try to plan out YouTube videos for at least 6 to 8 months that I know what I will be posting, because inspiration and motivation can be difficult. You know, sometimes you post something, you work so hard on a video and it does not get received well, or people don't like it, or it just doesn't hit with your audience, and that can be very demotivating, and it can make you feel like, oh, I've made a mistake here. But if you have that kind of content planned, you can just keep going, even if you're not feeling motivated or inspired. So for me, that was kind of the key, was having the editor and having content ideas.
Yeah, because to me, it looks like you need to be very creative. And of course, the same as for me writing an article or post or something, I need to be inspired, you know. I'm always thinking, okay, I need to be inspired. But then I realized even for Instagram, you need to be very well organized. You need to have a content plan. You need to have discipline. It should be regular. It should be at least 2 times per week. You need to sit down, find time. It doesn't matter if you have inspiration or you don't have. You just need to sit down and write a post. So I assume it's the same for YouTube. Maybe even you need to put it to another level, the discipline and the self-organization.
Yeah, one thing that I really like to do is, I still am old school. I use a notebook a lot, and I have this notebook with me pretty much all the time because inspiration can strike anywhere. So I will sometimes just be waiting for my kid to finish swimming class, and I get an idea and I write out a video. But that does not mean that you film it or edit it or do any of that stuff in the same day. I mean, it really, I think that what people don't realize is how much work it takes pre-filming and how much work it takes post-filming. You know, just the sitting down and filming, sometimes you film for 1 hour to make a video of 15 minutes, and then you have to cut. So it's really an enormous amount of work, and certainly in the beginning, you are not getting paid for any of it. You are losing money because you have to, I don't want to say like you have to make all these investments. You know, my investment was a tripod. I bought a tripod for, I don't know, less than 20 euros. That was my investment. And even to this day, I still film on my iPhone. But it's a time investment. It's an energy investment. It is, you have to put in all of this effort. And most people, I don't know if they're going to succeed, you know? And I don't mean that in the way that to discourage people, but you have to, when you approach it, to think, you know, I want to make this video, or I want to do this blog, or I want to make TikToks, or whatever it's going to be, I want to do it because it makes me happy. The work itself fulfills me. And then if I get followers or if it turns into a job, that's just a bonus. But you have to approach it thinking, if I never get paid for this, will I still want to do it? And if the answer is no, then maybe it's not for you. But if the answer is yes, then you should definitely go for it.
Yeah. I understand what you mean. But from the one perspective, of course, you want to enjoy the process. You want to be motivated. You want to be inspired. From the other hand, if you want to turn it into business, so some incomes also should come. Otherwise, you will be demotivated very fast. And can you share with us, so you started, I remember back in 2019, when actually you started making money out of your YouTube channel?
Okay. So I actually started posting in 2019, but Dan and I, we started recording, filming, writing, doing all of that in October or November of 2018.
Okay.
So, and then we posted our first video in February of 2019. Now, with YouTube, they used to make it easier for people to make money with YouTube. Now, the requirement is that you have 1,000 followers.
1,000.
1,000 and 4,000 watch hours. Now, these watch hours is what makes it a little bit difficult for people. So you have to have 4,000 hours within 365 days, like within one calendar year. So before you can even apply to get any money, you must meet these two requirements. You can have a video go viral. Like one of my videos did go viral. I was very lucky in the beginning that my video about having a baby in the Netherlands, it took off pretty much after the first month or so, 6 weeks, I think, of posting. And it got, I don't know, 50,000 views or something in that first month. So I met the watch hours, but I didn't meet the subscribers. So I had the time, but not the followers. So that's really frustrating because you're like, I see it, I'm so close, but it's not there. And then of course, then it caught up. I started earning money in July of 2019. So from November 2018 until July 2019, there was nothing, and we were posting 2 times a week, every single week, just waiting to meet the requirements from YouTube. But
yeah. Just for me, because it's probably a stupid question, but I have no idea how YouTube works. So I do understand how you can check the number of followers, but how you can check the number of hours?
So when you join and you are working as a creator, you download a separate app, or you have a separate analytics platform for YouTube where you can check all of these things.
Okay. And you get some reports. You download reports on whatever period, monthly, weekly, whatever.
Yes. You can check it. I mean, you can check real-time reports, I think, within 24 hours. So you're constantly being updated on, the average time that this video is watched is this much, or people get bored after this many minutes and they leave, or this thumbnail was not performing as well with your viewers. There's a lot of analytics that you have to also take time to understand, to understand them, to see how you can extrapolate the information from those reports to better your content to your audience. It's, for me, for example, on YouTube, nearly 70% of my followers are men, older men. On Instagram, it's like 90% women. On TikTok, they don't tell you so much detail, but it's really like every platform has a very different audience. And so you have to also be thoughtful about the type of content that you put on which platform. I cannot make one video and post it to Instagram and YouTube. I cannot do that. It doesn't perform because the people watching are different, and that takes time to learn those analytics and how to interpret.
Yeah, because of course we all see the front line. We all see people actually being on the video, but we don't see a kind of the back office job, which is also taking a lot of time and a lot of efforts, and it require new skills and etc. that's really important, I think, to mention for all people who are watching us, that it's not only being on the video and being beautiful and just think about the idea. It's a lot of back office work.
But not only that, I mean, we were just talking about the technical part of doing it, but then in addition to that, then you have your emails that you have to answer and your DMs and the engagement that you have to do with people. You have to, you know, once you get to a certain point and brands start reaching out, then it's like so much back and forth and so much time that you spend discussing things and figuring out things and planning and sending stuff to be approved. And if it doesn't get approved, then you have to refilm it and reshoot it. And it takes literally hours and hours and hours on the backside that people don't see to actually make something that you do see.
Yeah, exactly. And also, of course, if you would like to turn it into a business model, it also requires to do some administration, taxes, and this kind of work.
Well, thanks to you. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it without you, Katya, because I have so many questions and I don't understand anything when it comes to this kind of thing. So you have really helped me be able to turn this into a business by taking away those pressures. You know, when you send me a message and you're like, hey, it's time to think about this, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So it's really helpful to have somebody like you on my team that helps with that, for sure.
Yeah, that's really nice. Of course, to mention for people who are watching us that if you would like to get registered as a private entrepreneur in the Netherlands, it requires some administration work to do and taxes to be reported. So if you are paid by Google and then on the later stage you get this sponsored collaborations and you get some inflows from the sponsors, this is all your income. And in addition to income, you also can have expenses, and this all need to be together inside your administration. You need to report VAT quarterly, and once a year you need to provide your annual income tax. So just to give a roughly idea, as far as I know, of course, for this YouTube channel business, type of business, of course, you have mobile subscription as your expense. You also have your home internet for sure. But in addition to that, the editing work, the software you use, the equipment you buy, and probably also the makeup if you use. Clothes, I don't think so, but makeup, I think it's okay. And also what kind of extra expenses I have in mind. If you go to, let's say, to make a video in the museum or park, it requires you to buy a ticket, an entrance ticket. You can also include it into your administration. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mileage, because I'm traveling
mileage
before COVID to travel different parts. So mileage is another one. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And also to get at the end on the level of annual income tax, the special deductions for entrepreneurs. You need to meet the hours requirement, which is 1,225 hours per year, or in average 24 hours per week. I think it's very doable to make 24 hours per week if you do a YouTube channel, I think.
You know what? I mean, I had full-time jobs before, but doing this work online, I am working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is nothing in my life that I'm not thinking, oh, is this an inspiration for something? Oh, look at this thing. I want to write about that, or I want to talk about that. It is so difficult to actually switch off once you become a content creator, because you are constantly looking at things. And of course, I cannot say to the Belastingdienst that I'm working 24 hours a day, because no one is going to believe that. But the truth is, you are, or at least in my case, I am. It's hard to disconnect. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, some other expenses that sure. We've had, for example. Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say, we hired a photographer to do some Instagram photos for us. So that was also like a business expense that we had.
That was also business expense. Yeah, for sure. But if you need to buy like special equipment, like a drone probably, or special camera, or things like this, it's also tax deductible. Of course, it will most likely recognized as an asset in your administration, because everything which is more than 450 euros, excluding VAT, it should be assetized, and then you need to depreciate it over 5 years. But in principle, it's all tax deductible. And if you guys would like to get more tips, So join Azaroba Consulting page. You can also find it via my page. We give a lot of free information, and we really would like to support freelancers and private entrepreneurs to do the administration correctly, and also to get most of it from the tax perspective. Okay, interesting. So we covered a little bit how you started actually making money. And at this point, I know you went even further. You actually get big companies like Disney contacting you and offering you collaboration. So how this works? Because this for me, this is so inspiring and this is so great. Can you please share?
Sure. Okay, so well, to those of you who are watching from my channel, you don't know yet, but I'm going to be working with Disney, Disney Plus, the streaming platform, this year. So it's very exciting. But there's two ways. Well, I guess we can say, yeah, two ways that you can kind of do sponsorships. The first is where you reach out to the companies and you introduce yourself and you say, hi, I'm Yovi. I make this kind of content. I'm really interested in promoting this or that item that you have. Would you be interested in working together? You have to have a media kit for something like this, because these companies, they want to see who is your audience, where are they based, because they don't, just because you have 100,000 followers or 1 million followers, if it is not relevant to what they are selling, they're not going to hire you. It doesn't matter how big your audience is. That's not the key. You can have 100 followers, and if they are all into whatever it is that that company is selling, they're more likely to choose you, a smaller creator than a big one. So I guess you are sending out your media kit, you are sending pitches, you are saying, this is why we should work together, this is how I envision our collaboration, what do you think? And then you will get a yes or no, or sometimes you get completely ignored, or sometimes they say yes, and so then you can move forward. But other companies, in the case of Disney, let me talk about Disney. Disney, they hired a public relations firm to represent them. And that public relations firm was going through Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Their team was looking for people that they thought might be a good fit for Disney. And so I was reached out to by this PR agency. They said, hey, our client is Disney. They're looking for somebody to promote their streaming services. We think that you might be a good fit. Would you like to be considered? And then, of course, I was saying, wow, that's an honor. Yes, I would. I mean, I have Disney. Like, I use it myself, so it makes sense. It's a natural fit also for me.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really important, is that the collaboration makes sense. If you have a collaboration, like, I don't know, if a drone company or a tech company reached out to me and said, promote my drone, I wouldn't be a good ambassador for that. I don't understand it. I don't use it. So it has to really make sense. But when it does, then yeah, it's either you reached out to them, they've reached out to you in some way, and then you have to contract everything. Everything really must be documented. You have to know, what are the deliverables? What are they exactly expecting of you? I mean, to the point of, I recently did a collaboration where in the contract, it stood that I had to talk about the thing for 2 minutes. I talked about it for 1 minute, but I mentioned all the things in that 1 minute. And the company came back and they said, well, you didn't give us 2 minutes. So I was like, well, but I mentioned all the things.
Yeah,
and they said,
exactly.
no. And I was like, okay, fine. So I will fill in with 1 minute of just background music and random things. It doesn't make sense, So anyway, it can be messy and complicated as well. So yeah. I hope this is interesting, but let me know if you have other questions on how it works.
Yeah, but it's just amazing. Like, first of all, congratulations, because I think it's a next step, and I think you can consider this as a very big compliment to the content you make. So that's really, really cool. Okay, and just for for people who are watching, do you think it's possible to make living out of running a YouTube channel, or still you need to have something else in order to to survive actually financially?
That really, really depends. I mean, I spent the last 3 years really trying to get it to the level where I was making a livable income just from YouTube. Unfortunately, I did not get there. I don't feel like, even though I do make an income and there is money there, it's not enough to replace like a full-time job. But some creators do. You know, I can't say, like, if you look at, I don't know, like the really big Nikki tutorials, okay, she certainly makes enough money
For
from her
sure.
YouTube channel. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not, it really depends. But there are so many things to take into account. For example, where is your audience watching you from, specifically for YouTube? So if most of my audience was watching from the United States, I would be paid a higher amount of money because my audience is watching US based video advertisements.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, advertisers don't pay as much to YouTube as they do in America. And since most of my audience is based in Europe, here's an example. So if my videos that are watched in the United States, I earn something like $9 to $11 per 1,000 views. And in Europe, it's somewhere between 3 and 4 for the same number of views. So it's also really challenging because it's where is your audience? Where is your content? Who is advertising? So just the Google AdSense, the money that you just get from YouTube for your videos is not that great. That's why we have to have sponsors, which I know people hate, you know. At the same time, people will say, oh, you're selling out by, you know, taking sponsors for your YouTube videos. But it's like, well, when I spend 10 hours making a video and earn $5 or €5 in AdSense from it, you know, that's crazy. I need to have a sponsor that will pay me some kind of livable amount to make it worth the time and effort.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, yeah, understand. So it's also, it's a very, I think it's very important also to make a kind of financial plan, you know, and a little bit to estimate, at least to understand how the pricing and how the payments are generated via your YouTube channel. And maybe if you have a target, let's say you start getting paid after having 1,000 followers and certain number of hours, then you have a target, then you know what to do, how to reach this point in order to start getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also important, I think. And also I would like to mention that...
Sorry to interrupt you, Kathy. It's true that what you say, but when you have goals that are entirely dependent on somebody else doing something, for example, I will still make the video, but I cannot control how many people click on it to watch it.
Of course.
So it doesn't matter how good my video is, if it's not interesting or if it doesn't get the attention, if I make a mistake with the thumbnail, if I make a mistake in the introduction or something and people don't watch, I'm not going to make any money, and that's out of my control.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. It's hard and it's frustrating.
Yeah, I totally get it. But I think if you have this back of your mind that you need to get certain number of followers, certain, let's say, measurable numbers, then probably you would be analyzing more, like watching, oh, this video was not success. Why? Maybe I should change my content. Maybe I need to do something different. So I think it's, if you have it back of your mind, it helps also to actually to get there.
For sure. No, absolutely. I think you have to approach it with, if you really want to make money from it, you have to approach it in a professional and business way and still treat it like a business, even if it's not an actual functional business yet.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. You have to do that. Yeah. The other thing though, is that with social media, the money is not steady and it's not reliable. So the months October, November, December, you are making the most money of the year. I mean, in January, it's a joke, you know, so it's not steady. It's very much up and down like this. And for me, that doesn't feel good. And that's also why I wanted to go back into paid employment, so that I can have this contract. And I know that, okay, every month I'm guaranteed this income, and then I can still do YouTube on the side. And then it's not going to matter so much how much I'm getting paid, because I know that I have this certainty. The uncertainty of social media is tough.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, okay. And I would like to mention also for probably mommies who would like to start running a YouTube channel, one of the extra reasons why you should consider actually getting registered, because you can get your compensation for the daycare. And I think it's really, really helps.
Absolutely. That's yeah, that's super important. So once you're registered,
Yeah.
that's what enabled me then to put my daughter in daycare once a week. Once she got older and didn't do the 2 naps a day. So definitely that was great. That was a great tip from you to register, start running it like an actual business. And that's nice. In the Netherlands, you don't have an income requirement to incorporate your business,
Exactly.
right? So it's not like you have to earn 50,000 or something in a year before you can do it. It's even if your income is zero, you can still do it and get this compensation. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it's important to keep track of your hours because this is the one of the things they're looking at. So you should be actually making at least the same amount of hours you would like to be compensated by the daycare. If you make less, they will not compensate you, or you need to return it later when they find out. So be careful. Okay, and just it was super interesting, I think, our conversation. And just to summarize, can you give some practical tips for people who are looking that site?
Sure. Here, let me have a little. I had a little list. Just a second.
Okay.
Well, I think we actually talked about a lot of these things, which is that it is an awful lot of work behind the scenes, and just be prepared to do that. Be prepared to work essentially for free for a long time. I mean, I have a friend who's she's making constant videos for 6 years on YouTube, and she's still not getting paid for it. So, you know, it can happen that it doesn't happen for you. Try to be original is one thing. It is very, very frustrating to see that people are copying your content once once you're known and you can see people copying that. But I would say continue trying to be original, because that is what is going to attract people to your page, what is going to be authentic to you and original to you. Content plan. Really try as much as you can to film in advance, and don't just do one video, post it, and then see that life is going to get in the way. Your kid is going to get sick and you're not going to be able to post the video for the next week, or something is going to happen. So if you're not planned, if you don't have that cushion planned in, and you don't have that lead time of all those videos that you've made, it's going to be really difficult to stay consistent, which people also notice. So yeah, and just try it, but try to be original in what you're doing. As you say, like, there's a lot of mommies doing mommy content on YouTube, but there's, you don't need 800 million moms showing you how to vacuum something, right? There are the moms that are doing that have their audience, but not everyone is going to be interested. So see what you can do to make it a little bit different than what other people are doing, but still be authentic to you.
Yeah. And from my side, I must add that don't be afraid to get officially registered. It's not scary at all if you understand a little bit how administration works and what are the requirements, and you can get a lot of benefits.
Well, and in that case, my tip is also to hire somebody who knows how to guide you for that, because you were instrumental in all of that from the moment of me getting registered and everything, and telling me how to go to the KVK and what to do and what I needed to do. In addition, you helped me with my immigration stuff that I had to do, in the sense that I'm now applying for Dutch citizenship, and I needed something to show how much my business earned so I could get an exemption for something else. But you were the one that did that. It was having a partner who can really help you make the most out of your business is important.
Yeah, because probably at the beginning you have too much on your plate. You need to do videos, you need to find, I don't know, editors, all the equipment, visit places, etc. So probably, yeah, it's a good idea to outsource, at least at the beginning.
Yeah, one person you cannot run a successful social media thing on your own. It's impossible.
It's impossible, exactly, agree. Okay, guys, so it was, thank you so much for watching us. Thank you so much, Ivana. I wish you great success with your now combination of employment and still doing YouTube. I'm absolutely sure you will grow more, and we will hear about it. Maybe you will get displayed, or how it's called, YouTube
Oh, that's the goal. That's my
That's your
intense
goal.
goal.
Okay.
Yeah, we want 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's the absolute goal. I mean, we'll see if we can get there, but we're working on it.
Yeah. So enjoy your Friday, the rest of Friday, and
Thank
the
you.
weekend. And I hope you will all survive the stormy weather, and everything will be okay with us and with kids.
Stay
So
safe. Thank you, Katya, and thank you also for your support. And I mean, yeah, I really like working with you, so thank you so much.
thank you so much. Okay, great success. Thank you so much, and yeah, we see each other next Friday.
Sounds great.